Hey, Bassmaster Elite Series Pro Mark Menendez here with you. And how many days have you been on the water and you needed one more fish to fill a limit? And that was to get you to your Bass Club Classic, to get you to your regional event, championship, or winning the event, whatever it takes. Been there, done that 1,000 times. And I've got a strategy when it's late in the day and I don't have that. There are 3 baits I always turn to get that one more bite. And occasionally, that little Snickers bar size bait will get me a giant one. But I'm looking to fill my limit, and it's really important to do that in tournament situations. The first thing I'll go to if I'm needing to fish really fast is a little bitty Strike King 1.0 crankbait. Look at that little bite-sized candy bar. It's a square bill bait. It has all the properties of your big square bills: buoyancy, deflection. A square bill is the 4-wheel drive of all crankbaits. I can throw it through a brush pile, I can throw it around stumps, I can bump it off a cover, and that's your job with the crankbait, is make sure you're deflecting off of something to cause that reaction strike. This little guy every now and then will catch you an awful big fish. Then, again, when time is running down and I've got to make a lot of presentations to get that chance to get that next 12-incher, here's one I really, really do like. This is a Little Mr. Money spinnerbait. And that's why we call it Little Mr. Money, because it's money when it's on task. Small frame. Look how small the frame of this spinnerbait is. So its silhouette is relatively small. Small blades, a Colorado on top, a little Indiana on the bottom, and a good sharp hook. A big one shows up on this thing, you don't have to worry about it twisting and spreading out and getting pulled apart by a big bass. This one right here is absolutely money, and that's why we call it that, the Little Mr. Money spinnerbait. And then here's the old Coangler Special. Doggone it, I don't like to fish this thing. It's so slow in fishing, but a good old shaky head. 6.5 inch perfect plastic worm on the back of it, 1/8 ounce tour grade shaky head. That is a bass catching machine. Now it's a little slower presentation, takes a little bit of time, but it's going to get you a bite. And the cool thing about a shaky head and why they're so effective is when you have a Texas rig worm, if I had a sliding slip sinker worm on here, it basically falls to the bottom. When this jig head hits the bottom, that tail is up off the bottom and it gives the fish visibility and distance to see your bait. And that's why a shaky head is so positive. It's in a downward movement. It's a non-natural presentation and it gets that predator's instincts going really quick. A little crankbait in a 1.0, a little tiny spinnerbait and a Little Mr. Money, and a shaky head rig just like this one right here will get you all the bites you need to get that limit in the last hour of the tournament.